Okay, good morning. Last class, we have started to discuss introduction of audit and assurance. There are two topics we have already covered. So we will continue from third topic. So last class we have covered. I have given introduction about assurance. Listen. I told last class what are the steps involved in the audit, and we have discussed about assurance. So today, and we have started to discuss about audit. So today we will continue the audit part. For audit also, we have completed certain aspects. Number one, what are the areas we have covered last week in audit? Covered about assurance. What are the areas? What are the topics we have discussed? We have discussed only two areas. One is corporate governance in audit, accountability, stewardship, agents. These three topics we have discussed. Apart from that, we have discussed objectives of audit. Those two are basic things we have discussed. So today, third topic, we are going to discuss about inherent limitations or limitations of an audit of financial statement. In simple term, limitations of audit. So we have discussed in the assurance, how many assurance types we have or levels of assurance. Last class we discussed introduction of assurance and audit. We have discussed assurance, levels of assurance. How many assurance levels are there? 2 or 3? How many types are there? 2 types. What are those? Reasonable and limited. So we can't give absolute assurance. Okay, absolute assurance means 100% assurance. We can't say 100% correct in the bank. So reason it is all things. Okay, so why we can't give 100% assurance? Why we can't give 100% correct or absolute assurance? Why we can't give reasons? These are the limitations. Number one, apart from this, why we can't give 100% practical scenario? Let's say finance statements, you know, we take a finance, we take a company finance statements, you know, already there was also I have shown this example. How many people are involving to prepare the finance statements in the organization? You take a finance division. Who is responsible to prepare the finance statement? Who is responsible to prepare the finance statement? Management. Okay. In the management, which division is preparing finance statement? Finance division. Okay. In the finance division, how many members? Roughly, how many members will be there? To take an established company, not a small private limited. I'm not taking small private limited as an example. Just say established company like Galle or JKH. How many members are in the finance division? Roughly 15 to 20 average. Okay, 20 or 25 based on the company size, but average size is 15 to 20. So those 15 to 20 members, how many days they will take to prepare the finance statement? How many days they will take time to prepare the finance statement? How many days they will take? 15 members. Who's the top person? CFO, OG CFO, depends on the hierarchy. Let's say CFO, Chief Finance Officer, under him Finance Controller, Finance Manager, Senior Accountant, Assistant Accountant, Accountant Secretary, Accountant Assistants. Likewise, 15, 20 people are there. How many days they need to prepare the financial statements? Same mostly it's a Russian attack. Nowadays they will take that's in 6 days. Okay, preparation of finance statement means not only preparing the finance statement, from passing the entry to taking the finance statement out, that entire process. So the entire 365 days they are taking revenue, 365 days, expense of bank reconciliation, weekly or monthly, they will prepare. So likewise, they take entire 365 days to take the outcome, which means financial statements. We are beginning. Finance section is stuck here. Exhibit to the 365 days are again and finance statement prepared. Auditor, I think in a month. First thing is maximum. Okay, let's say 5 people are going for audit. Team, apart from the partner and engagement manager, let's say director, engagement partner, and engagement manager, leave those people. People get a first thing had in killing okay, first thing 20 members involved and prepared by taking 365 days. They have prepared a statement. 5 members in Lama and Chickle and 100% they can't do. Practically, monosoftware is for okay. For that purpose, because of that, we will check only material transaction. Okay. Out of that material transaction, we are checking only some. So we are not covering 100%. As we are not covering 100%, we are in a position to give 100% assurance. We can't. Okay, it's one of the practical things. Okay, apart from that, few reasons are here why we cannot give 100% assurance. Apart from that, qualitative limitations also we have. I have put here. Okay, so if you Google it, if you check the ChatGPT or Google, you can see a lot of limitations, but I have read only 5. Yes, but first limitation, audit. Generally, we are saying in normal term, audit is a closed quarter. Okay, because after financial year only we are doing the audit. Live audit January month, January month audit monthly. Interim audit we are doing, we will discuss that part later, interim audit and final audit. But interim audit we will do that also after completion of specific period. So now, if you want to do the audit, you have to do 25-26 period. March, right? So March 2020 you have to do. So audit report is issued long time after the period end. That was March report take at all, then if you start to do the audit somewhere on May, you will take 1 month. Finalization will take 2 weeks time. At least I'm saying average time. So after 1.5 month time only you will give. From 31st March now, after 4 months, 3 months only, you will give the audit report. General situation. And certain cases, they will finalize the audit before April or some banks audit. They are April 1st never run audit. Certain cases are there. So we have to finalize the figures. That report you can give later, no issue. But once you finalize the figures, you can't change the figures. Just confirm card change the bank. Report final print out. But once you finalize the figures, you can't change the figures. So first or April 1st or 2nd, you have to finalize. So those audits we will do the interim also. We will discuss this for that part in detail in interim and final audit chapter. So number 1 limitation, audit report is issued after long time period, after the period end. Okay, so that is one limitation. Audit evidence sometimes indicates what is probable, not certain. In simple terms, you can remember in your mind. estimate judgments and intentions. Exact number like some other provisions, so let's say bonus provision. Okay. And one more thing, here you have practical audit procedures. Okay, the audit evidence and procedures. Third step is there. In first semester we have discussed only theory. Audit evidence and other such sufficient appropriate area. So I am what are the audit procedures? That theory only we have discussed, but here each and every section, what are the practical audit procedures you have to perform? That thing also there. Take PP. What are things you have to do? Actions we are discussing the semester. So to link to those actions, each and every account you should have audit program, audit procedures. Okay, that detailed discussion we will have in our step 3 audit procedures and audit areas chapter. Okay. So audit evidences sometimes indicates various program or certain provisions are there in the account. What is the difference between provision and payable? The difference between provision and payable. The difference between provision and payable. Provision of payable. All of working people. What you don't know, no. Working people. Person. Buying person. One person are work correct. Ethically, person are no. Working people product person. What you don't know, it doesn't matter. More than 90 working weeks. What's the difference between provision and payable? Accounts again, accrued expenses, other papers, taking some other elements, EPF paper, electricity paper, water bill paper, paper, papers, rent paper, bonus, gratuity, commission, paper or something. Okay, likewise, certain provisions also there, certain papers also there. The provisions also will come under payable category. Question: what is the difference between payable and provision? Provision estimate amount. Exact amount you don't know. You know you have to pay you have to settle the obligation. For example, retirement benefit obligation. Whether it is actual amount or estimate amount. Correct? Estimate. So that is also, after completion of 5 years, these people you have to pay credit. But how much you don't know. And when also you don't know. But according to that, you have to pay after 5 years of completion. So that is estimate. That is judgment. Judgment is important. When it comes to electricity, also sometimes we make provision. And March bill like April April 30, March 31st complete करना पड़ेगा और April ending accounts का complete करना है. By April 15th of 20th, you can put the exact amount once you receive the bill. Otherwise, you have to put a provision based on the last 11 months payment. So that is also provision of payable. If you get the actual bill, that is payable. If you don't get the actual bill, you have to park the estimate amount. That is provision. Audit fee, provision the exact amount. Provision or exact amount. Audit fee provision के लगे हैं क्या बोलते हैं exact amount के लगे हैं क्या audit fees of provision. Sometimes even though you put exact amount, let's say if you already agreed, okay. If you don't agree, you just pass 5%, 10%, 50%. But after that they will negotiate. Even though you record in the book, sometimes after some time, client will negotiate. So if you don't know the exact amount, but you know the obligation, then those type of accounts you have to compute the amount that is called estimate based on the judgment. So here we can't give the 100% and we can't one of the limitations, estimate amounts. So estimate amounts always auditor will check the reasonableness. He won't check total check. Are the kiela? Are bonus provision 100,000 provide 100,000 are the kiela? Total check. If it is 95, 105, okay, reasonable check. Okay, so estimates are important. Third one, limitations in accounting and control systems such as solutions. What's the internal control system? Solutions not another in solutions slide this chemical statement of the slab. Okay. If any material misstatement, if any material misstatement happen in the financial statement, that is auditor's responsibility. You have to find. You have to do the adequate audit procedures. Aim and excuse on the back. Even though collusion like this. Understand not auditors are in understand material misstatement objective. Our objective is only material misstatement, material transaction. Immaterial misstatements we don't need to bother. Material misstatements one. That material misstatements can be happen in two ways. Material misstatements can be happen in two ways. What are those ways? One is error, another is fraud. As we go following it, so errors or fraud. What are two ways now? Solution means one of the fraud. One of the fraud. Yeah, solution is a fraud. If one person does fraud activity, that is called fraud. If two or more people together do the activity means fraud activity means that is collusion. So collusion also will come under fraud category. So the material misstatements can be happen in two ways. One is errors, another one is fraud. Okay. Errors or fraud. In any way, any method, if material misstatement happens, that must be found by audit. Because they have to do adequate audit procedure. Solution like this. Fraud audit taking okay. But solution no. Okay, it's scenario. Can fraud for touch at least on just not doubt it. We have to tell to management. If this control is not there, it may lead to problem activity. Almost internal control to stop the problem activities, who is responsible? Clear fraudulent activity, what is our responsibility to do? Stop the problem is management. If fraudulent activity material misstatement management identify करने का responsibility. And if fraud material misstatement identify that is all. Because it means we have not done enough audit. Okay. Then fraud now, some extent we can identify. For some extent we can identify the at least we can go to the next step. But collusion means it will be done by controls or involved in receipt process or payment process. This process here, other person involved in other person fraud activity involved. Difficulty other person involved in involvement entire process after management dispose segregation of duties there. So it may lead to problem activity. Even that. Okay, but first thing we also satisfy. Okay, has a possibility those 5 people also get together and involved in the product. Naturally, at least 1% chance, So because of that, we can't give the 100% assurance also. So limitations in accounting such as provisions. Sample basis. As I told, we are not covering entire 100%. We are covering only sample transactions. Not all the items in the finance statements are tested. Sample is used. Audit report has some inherent limitations such as layman may not understand audit jargon. Some words over them understand in the back and audit report keyword. Some words here. Audit report is done. But the audit report contents you know. We have not discussed audit report detailed format in first level. Here you have. Okay, the key audit matters, those things in detailed version we will discuss. There are some audit report words layman cannot understand. And if the item control, going concern, normal people can understand from the bank. So that is also one of the limitations. So these are the audit limitations. These are limitations to the audit. Okay. So 3 topics we have covered in audit. First one is corporate governance, objectives, skill BI introduction. Okay, skill BI introduction. From next class onwards, after completing this thing, agree the terms, I give the questions. Next class, I will upload the questions each chapter. Introduction, case-based questions on the hand, objective to be straightforward. So I will give theory questions and mini case or case-based type questions also I will upload. Every chapter I will upload. So we will do the questions parallelly after completion of all one every chapter. So 3 topics we have covered: governance. What are the topics we have covered? Covered is the governance, accountability, workship, and agent. The second one, objectives, primary objectives, and secondary objectives. Third one, just now we have discussed inherent or limitations of audit. Now we will directly move to our first step. What is the first step? What is the first step? Last you have the first step in audit. We are studying last class. Last class name. Mass item is we are studying. What is the first step? Agreement, sir. Some agreement appointment. Of auditor. Okay, first of all, the why auditor should be appointed. Already we discussed that part again. I'm not going to discuss. Last class we discussed why auditor should be appointed. And why auditor should be appointed? Who is preparing finance statement? Who is the interested party for the finance statement or finance statement? Yeah. Those they are internal parties. Now management prepares the finance statement and gave to staff. So why now auditor should be appointed? Why auditor has come to the picture? Management prepares the finance statement. Staff or the customer have reliable on that statement. If shareholders want to increase the reliability on the finance statement, they want third person, independent person's opinion. For that purpose, shareholder appoints auditor. Am I listening? This is the reason. Okay, so here, first, okay, shareholder wants to appoint auditor, independent person. Now, they will approach to the auditor. So, okay, fine. Now, either you can order Lanka, we can do. So, auditors are approached to another or front of auditors are front of Lanka. That's a practical plan I'm saying. Okay. So, and auditors also they will ask some questions and they will send the proposal. Okay, make a okay, that is called acceptance procedure. So I'm not covering those things here. So here, auditor should be appointed. So auditor has been confirmed, and how appointment should be taking place, and auditor should agree the terms. From there only, I'm taking the points. Okay. Before that, let's say now initial part of the shareholder appoint करना किला था ना वो मुझे appoint करना किला इतना मेरा तीन आने या मुझे approach करने किला एक first shareholder will request to the auditor to take over the audit. एक request कार्ड बसे suddenly immediately किला मैं आना और take and before that auditor should evaluate certain things. That is called acceptance procedure. Client acceptance, engagement acceptance किला देखा. Okay, so this is for your knowledge purpose. Just understand. Before legally appointing the auditor, certain things are there. Okay, those things must be first fulfilled. So now, before sending the quotation, audit proposal as in non-auditor, before sending the proposal, audit field proposal, auditor should evaluate certain things before accepting the audit. Before accepting the audit, before sending the proposal. Proposal like a PA send out a आपको select करना पड़े नया नया करना बैग लगी ना okay इन सब proposal का send करना करी अब ये किया ना पूरा in the pre-condition stage if pre-conditions we will discuss today already we discussed but we will discuss today engagement agreeing the terms I will explain to you so now we will discuss about appointment stage so before sending the proposal auditor should evaluate certain things let's say in the audit firm you have only 5 members. Okay, in the audit firm, small audit firm, you have only 5 members, including audit trainees. Whether you can do the PLC audit. Now, PLC company का power approach का audit करने किया. आपने क्या PLC audit करना पड़ा? That so they will accept the shareholders request or board of directors request. That. So first of all, they should evaluate whether we have adequate resources, whether we are committed to do this audit. After resources, after skills, after okay, okay. So that they have to analyze. Second thing, client got accept and client illegal activity, unethical activities will involve in that KYC, know your customer, KYC, that banking, okay. So know your client, your customer and a client. Okay, so that should be that those things what I should consider. So likewise, before the acceptance, the practical scenario I would say before the acceptance means before sending the proposal. Okay, when shareholders approach to auditor to take over the audit of the relevant company before sending the proposal, auditor should consider these things. Okay, that is called acceptance procedure. Now let's say auditor has evaluated certain things and is okay to accept this audit proposal. Okay, so audit proposal he has now he is in a position to accept the audit proposal. Now he can send the audit proposal. Now based on the quotation and the proposal, client also will evaluate. They also might have taken 3-4 proposals in the audit fee from the audit agent. Select that, pass it on. Okay. Okay. Now shareholders want to appoint audit. Clear? So what are the ways to appoint the auditor? Okay. There are 3 ways. Who should appoint auditor? The author. This one we have not discussed. Yeah, I told it was clever. I will discuss second stage I want to discuss करना पड़ेगा. So who will appoint the auditor? Shao. That's clear. As a general circumstance, there are some exceptional circumstances also there. So first we will discuss about the shareholders' involvement to appoint the auditor. Okay, then shareholders are income. Then we give them the PLC kila, PLC either kila shareholders. You can't count also. Major 20-25 shareholders you can see in the annual report. Okay, let's say 1,000 of shareholders are there. 8,000 shareholders from 1 by 1 center or what is that? In a particular, you know, over the shareholders. And that not a shareholders from a point current in the start over the company. AGM. So through AGM, shareholders should be appointed by, sorry, auditors should be appointed by shareholders. Okay. So mostly all PLC companies AGM should be appointed before September. September. For 6 months, or final period again, run on AGM. So it's taken 6 months. So before September 30th, they have to arrange AGM and they have to appoint. They have other details also they have discussed, and one of the point is auditors appointment also. So if I document 1,000 of shareholders and 1,000 and so those people will appoint auditor. Okay, here that's the normal way. So through AGM, shareholders appointment. Okay, second scenario. Now let's say 2024, 2025 September AGM. In that September AGM, 25-26 auditor has been appointed by shareholders. Okay, period 24-25 auditor can make last year whoever 25 September AGM, which means last year 25-26 period auditor appointed by shareholders. Okay, when last year September 4-25-26 period. Now auditor has given resignation on January 2026 or December 2025 after appointment of 25-26. Okay, mono reasons I don't know. Whatever reasons, certainly because of certain reasons, he has given the resignation. Auditor has told, I am not going to take over 25-26. Then I father shareholders for then practical anything. So board of directors will appoint auditors. Okay, board of directors will appoint auditor. So resignation auditors 2025 December or 2026 January before starting the audit 25-26. That resignation called casual vacancy. Okay, here that is called casual vacancy. Clear the point again? Already appointed by shareholders, but because of certain reasons, after appointment of auditor, that particular auditor has given resignation before starting the particular audit. Okay, so then auditor can go in it. Auditor resignation audit auditor can go in. Auditor at the same time, you can't call shareholders to appoint the auditor also. So now immediately you have to take a decision. Exception situation. Okay. So there, board of directors come to the picture and they will act the auditor. Okay. Then make an illegal maker. Because then companies act again. Private limited PLC companies take our own net. Okay. Because procedures should be followed. Then make a PLC company shareholder make a queuing. practical practical deals with the current private limited board of directors on managed company board majority of cases. In our data plus Java, last name may auditor so we can send a proposal. You want to appoint you as an auditor or our company. Here, make an audit client. You can't do like that. First of all, make a base server as a private company. Shareholder plus director same name. First of all, get the resignation from previous. It's a normal way. Heart of harm and network. Smoothly processing casual vacancy. Now, board of director can appoint us. Okay. So that approach has taken from this point in the company sector. So after appointment of auditor by shareholders, because of certain reasons, auditor has given resignation, then casual vacancy will be created. Okay. So to fulfill that casual vacancy, now board of directors come to the picture and they will appoint audit. And that auditor will do the 25-26 audit. Now again AGM. 25-26 AGM. In that 26 AGM, now if shareholders willing to continue with that auditor, they will continue with that auditor. We appoint the same auditor. Then shareholders come appoint the auditor. Okay. So if they don't like that auditor, then they can change the auditor as well. They will not cover that right also they have. Most of the cases they may done in practically 90%. AGM again reappoint 7 years, not but those are other things, PLC companies, but generally AGM shareholders will reappoint. Okay, this is exceptional case. Casual vacancy means if auditor gives resignation, casual vacancy will be there. Okay. Then to fulfill that one, board of directors will appoint the auditor. So number one, through AGM, shareholder will appoint. If casual vacancy has come, then board of directors will appoint. Okay. Third point. Company registrar company registrar will appoint the auditor in certain circumstances. Okay, what are those circumstances? Number one, shareholders appointment of AGM. Number two, if casual vacancy has come, board of directors should appoint. Number three, company registrar will appoint the auditor. At what circumstances? Let's say casual vacancy has taken place in December 2025. Now, previous example, December 2020, September 2025, shareholders appointed auditor, but auditors have given resignation on 2025 December. So now the company is in a position to appoint new auditor to do the 25-26 audit. In a scenario, one option, directors will appoint auditors. If directors do not appoint the auditors within 1 month time, okay, which means December resignation to me, January appointment on auditors direct. If they don't appoint, the company registrar will appoint the auditor. Okay, clear? So that is one circumstance. Second circumstance, if shareholders do not appoint or reappoint the auditor. Okay. Theory knowledge theory companies actually are possible case then thousands of circumstances the majority of cases company register situation but in theory that is also there. Okay, so number one, casual vacancy has taken place within a month. Directors have not appointed an auditor. In that point, company registrar will come and appoint the auditor. Second circumstance, in AGM, auditor has been appointed by shareholder or auditor has not been reappointed by shareholders in AGM. In that circumstances also, company registrar will come to the picture and appoint the auditor. Okay, here. So number one, actual vacancy taking place. Even the theory I have given detailed one. Okay, a short form only I am giving actual vacancy taking place. Board of directors has not appointed auditors. In a month. Okay. Then company registrar will appoint the auditor. Second circumstance, an AGM shareholders or reappoint appointed or reappointed auditor. Okay. In these two circumstances, company registrar will come and appoint the auditor. So next cycle, AGM, if auditor wants to continue with the appointed auditor, they can reappoint the same one. Okay. So for the initial situation again, appoint company registrar will appoint. So these are the three situations in relation to appointment of auditor. Okay. General situation, shareholder should appoint the auditor to increase the reliability on financial statement. Okay. Ending. Purpose the appointment they shareholder 90% win. May come exceptional situation. So 90%, 95%, these things will happen. Shareholder will appoint and go. In AGM, they will reappoint. In AGM, they will appoint new auditor. Those things will happen automatically. The agenda being on AGM agenda, this is also one of the items. One they will do and they will pass the AGM. But these two things have been given in the act. If any case has happened, you should use like this. Exemption. Okay. So here, too much technical words also there. I have extracted from the same in the act, but you don't need to remember all these things. The concept is that one, but I have given in the short. Number one, appointment of the auditor. These are the sections. You don't need to remember. Just understand the concept. The company shall, at each annual AGM, appoint an auditor to hold office from the conclusion that AGM shareholders will appoint auditor. That is okay. Number two, the board of a company may fill any casual vacancy in the office of the audit. In the office of the auditor, come on, audit, company type in audit. Okay. Come in, so you just remain the auditor. Okay. Just understand auditor will be appointed like this. If casual vacancy taking place, board of directors involved and appoint the auditor. We fill any casual vacancy in the office of auditor, but while the vacancy remains the surviving or continuing auditor, if any may continue act as an auditor. Okay. Number three, where at an AGM of company no auditor is appointed or reappointed, or no resolution has been passed under subsection 2, then it means auditor has been appointed, has not been appointed or reappointed. Even company registrar will appoint the auditor. And second one, casual vacancy in the office of auditor is not filled within 1 month of the occurring of the such vacancy. Auditors appointment related possibility. Clear? Okay. Next topic, for your understanding purpose. For your knowledge purpose, Sri Lanka auditing standards. Accounting standards are there in case in SLFRS. Likewise, to do the audit also, auditors have auditing standards. Already, I gave this one somewhere around from 200 to 800 series. We have the standards. So, this Sri Lanka auditing standard taken from international auditing standard, like same as your accounting standard. Accounting standard IFRS IFRS and IAS. That one is SLFRS and LKS. Same as here also, international auditing standards are there. So those standards, based on those standards, Sri Lanka auditing standards also labeled. Okay. This one is important. The practical scenario you have to understand this one. Regulatory framework in Sri Lanka. Both topic is just for reading purpose, understanding purpose. This one is important. Regulatory framework. Under the Sri Lanka accounting and auditing standards, the Institute of Chartered Accountants, CS Sri Lanka, is the formulating body of Sri Lanka accounting standards and Sri Lanka auditing standards. Based on the IFRS accounting standard and auditing standard, Sri Lanka, CA Sri Lanka is developing Sri Lanka auditing standards and accounting standards. Auditing standard auditing standard accounting standards knowledge. Accounting marketing division accounting auditing field so prepare CS. Okay, so they have this board of ethics and corporate governance. Yes. Accounting standard, auditing standards, all books are available at CSU. Okay. Second point. May accounting standard auditing standard govern class in Peter Sri Lankan accounting and auditing standard monitoring board. All of the Sri Lanka accounting and auditing monitoring Sri Lanka Sri Lanka Accounting and Auditing Standards Monitoring Board /MP කියලා කියනවා. This /MP will review the accounts of specific business entities. Okay. So what is meant by specific business entities? For this, I won't ask any questions here for your knowledge purpose. Maybe this is practical now. So hereafter you don't have any audit chapter ni? Start begin. Okay. Audit account may PA in here. Last stage. So here, /MP is a monitoring board. Sri Lanka Audit Accounting and Auditing Standards Monitoring Board. That's why it's a short form is /MP. Their responsibility is whether companies have followed accounting standard properly, okay, and whether auditors have done their job according to the auditing standard. Review karna. It is their responsibility. Okay, compliance review. Accounting standard, auditing standards called compliance. So compliance review they will do. Sri Lanka companies, number of companies or lot of companies are there. So they won't review all the companies' accounts and audit. Okay, they will review. Okay. Okay. In Sri Lankan context, we have two types of companies. SPs, non-SPs. Okay, specific business entities. So these specific business entities, how you can classify one company whether this is specific business entity, which means SP or non-SP. There are some criteria. I'm not going to discuss entire criteria. 5 or 4 criteria are there. No, not only 5. So yeah, more than that, criteria are there. Qualitative criteria is also there. Okay, one of the criteria, if company has more than 500 million turnover. Okay, if company has one of the criteria, so one of the criteria is if company has more than 500 million turnover, that company will be considered as SPE. Okay. Here and all the PLCs, public quoted companies, SPEs, irrespective of turnover. That company, that PLC company may have 100 million or 10 million, it doesn't matter. But if it is PLC company, public quoted company, that company will be considered as SPE. Financial institutes, time. Financial institutes will be considered as, you don't note it down just for understanding. Okay, I won't check any questions here. Just for understanding. Banks, leasing companies, financial institutes, irrespective of amount of turnover or assets or equity, those companies, those financial institutes will come under SPs. All PLC companies will come under SPs. So other private limited companies, other than PLC, these banks, financial institutes, leasing companies, other companies, private limited companies, quantitative criteria based on turnover 500 million. 500 million or above 500 million, that company will be considered as SP. Based on assets, based on liability, based on equity. Likewise, private limited companies can be classified SBO and SP. If 1,000 employees are there, then a company again, 500 million turnover assets, liability, savings criteria mention. If that company has 1,000 employees, then that company will come under SP. Okay, 1,000 staff, 1,000 employees. So likewise, they will segregate. These are the companies SPs. These are the companies non-SPs. Clear? This one criteria. On review. SPs, specific business entities. Those companies must submit their audited accounts to monitoring board, which means /MP. Okay, so /MP has two types of review. One is accounting standard review, another one is auditing standard review. Okay, then make a submit only. each and every SB company should submit their audited accounts to /NP. So they will review. They audited accounts review karla. Accounting standard taking one non-compliance thing on a letter accounts. Okay, that is accounting aspect. Everyone to own audit file request karna. When it comes to auditing standard review. May SB audit may auditors la auditing standard karla okay, but accounts review auditing standard audit service sample basically select all the criteria based on nature amount every criteria call audit funds. So auditors, if any auditors doing SBs, all auditors are doing SB audit also. So SBs, so they should give more care to SB audits because review will be done by SB. Okay, so you should understand regulatory framework, Sri Lanka Accounting and Auditing Standard Monitoring Board will review accounting standards and auditing standards. Okay, so they won't review all the companies thing, they will review SBs. Google /NB, what are the criteria? What are the criteria to classify companies under SBs here? That discussion I can like about the discussion I can be 500 million. Okay, 500 million criteria. Still discussions going on. Yeah, then lot of companies will come under SB. Okay, this is the regulatory framework, regulatory body to monitor or review the national accounting standard and auditing standard. Clear? Under the Sri Lanka Accounting and Auditing Standards Act 1995, the Institute of Chartered Accountants is the formulating body for Sri Lanka accounting standards and auditing standards. Regulations of the auditing profession and monitoring of compliance with Sri Lanka. Not the LKS, no. The LKS. Just LKS. Sri Lanka accounting standard and SLUS auditing standard by specified business enterprises or entities. Okay, specified business enterprises or entities is carried out by Sri Lanka Accounting and Auditing Standards Monitoring Board. Okay, so this is the concept you should know. So I'm not going to ask any questions in relation to this. For your understanding purpose, I have given. You have audit. Corona got a teacher again. Accounts turn. Ogala mono tang ogola වැඩ කරන company අර future එකේ වැඩ කරන company SB ද නැද්ද කියලා identify කරගන්න. Okay. තව දෙයක්. Auditing standard also we have SB companies ට වෙනම auditing standards තියෙනවා. non SB එකට වෙනම auditing standards තියෙනවා. Auditing standards තියෙන audit approach කොහොමද කරන්න කියලා. Simplified version. For non SB audits we have simplified version of auditing standards. ගොඩක් කරන්න මේ තමයි ගොඩක් කරන්න ඕනේ කියන්නේ. මේ හැබැයි simplified කරලා තියෙනවා. Okay, so in future you should know when you work in an organization, you have to understand whether that company is SB or non-SB. If it is SB, you have to submit that account to monitoring board. And one more thing, make a good confusion practical. SB, non-SB kira diya nani. Specified business entity, non-specified business entity classify karani. Okay. ඒකට accounting standard මොනවද apply වෙන්න ඕනේ කියන එකට relationship එකක් නැහැ confuse කරගන්න එපා සමහර කට්ටිය මේක වෙයි 100% sure future එකේ අවශ්‍ය වෙයි කවුරුත් මේ ප්‍රශ්න ඔයගොල්ලන් ඉන්නවා SBs ඔක්කොම full IFRS නම් follow කරන්න ඕනේ non SBs ඔක්කොම full SLFRS for SMEs for එහෙම එකක් නැහැ okay මේකට link එකක් නැහැ මේක auditing standards for SB auditing standard for non SB based on the classification given by monitoring board. Auditing standard develop kara diya. මේ පැත්තෙන් accounting standards. Okay, accounting standards you have full IFRS, which means full SLFRS, SLFRS for SME, SLFRS for small entities, statement of recommended practice for non-profit organization, which means accounting standards for NGOs and non-profit organizations. You have 4 types of accounting standards. Make it up link කරගන්න එපා. confuse කරගන්න එපා. මේක වෙනම බලන්න. මේක වෙනම බලන්න. You have SB company, private limited company. That company has more than 500 million turnover, but that company can follow SLFRS for SME. Anyway, so SLFRS for small entity they can follow. Anyway, 100 million are doing the remaining. So that company can follow SLFRS for SME. Okay, but meaning that SB නම් අනිවාර්යයෙන් full IFRS කරන්න ඕනේ. But PLC public ordered company, PLC, financial institutes, they must follow full IFRS. ඒක මේකෙන් තියෙන විකම් මේක SB එකට මේකට link එකකට එන්නේ. Accounting standard එකකින් කියනවා financial institutes, banks and public ordered companies must follow full IFRS කියලා. හරිද? ඔයගොල්ලෝ කවදාවත් accounting standard books එක බලන්නේ නැද්ද? නෑ මම just ආන්නේ. මොන බොක්ස් එක බලන්නේ නැද්ද? books තියෙනවානේ. දෙකක් තියෙනවානේ දැන්. full IFRS එකෙන් දෙකක් තියෙනවා. මම දන්න තරම දෙකක්. Okay. book එකක් තියෙනවා. Plus SLFRS for SME කියලා තව book එකක් තියෙනවා පොඩි එකක්. I think blue color or purple color book. Okay. That book first page or second page තියෙනවා. දැන් CA මේකෙන් බලන්න පුළුවන් උරන්ට. නැත්තම් උදේ වෙබ්සයිට් එකෙන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. Okay. ඒකෙන් තියෙනවා මොන companies ද SLFRS for SME adopt කරන්න බෑ කියලා. ඒ companies එකට මේක adopt කරන්න බෑ කියලා තියෙනවා. first or second page. හරිද? initial මේකෙන් තියෙනවා. ඒකේ PLC, banks, financial institutes cannot adopt SLFRS for SME. What's the meaning of that? They must adopt full IFRS. What is the meaning? Okay. So in future, if anyone tells this SB and non-SB and connecting with accounting standard, you don't need to connect. Make a venom category up, make a venom category. Okay, make auditing standard, make accounting standard. Future के मोनोवारी का अपने join करो, एक okay, but currently both are isolated. SB, non-SB, auditing standard. Full IFRS, SLFRS for SME, SLFRS for SC, and NPO standard. Those are isolated. Okay, then name a game of then me. Up a game of me. Don't NGO करना होगा auditor. NGO auditor करना पड़े NGO के 500 million 600 million donation हो गया 500 million 600 million donation हम कितना किया था एक SB ने वो मत based on turnover donation let's say SB क्या गेम का भी निकाल एक SB क्या consider करना है क्या full IFRS अप्लाई करना किया हाँ that NGO should adopt NPO standard last one non-profit organization standard इसका मतलब make a so for knowledge purpose auditing standards you have to accounting standards you have okay. Okay. With that, first step is over. So now, in the first step, auditor's appointment is over. Auditor has been appointed. So now, before starting the work, now auditor has been appointed, but auditor can't directly jump to the audit procedures. Before that, he has to do certain things. Okay. First level, discuss that program for a recap. So, one by one, the brand and Sunda recap. Same theory is in second level, or ACC, or CA, or CA, wherever you go, may theory understand. Then second level, like a theory, make a first level, like a theory, make a theory, but this is the man, theory will be same. But questions totally changed. Okay, case-based error. Next class we will discuss. Now, auditor has been appointed. After appointing the auditor, directly auditor cannot start the work. Turn the bank. So first of all, he has to agree the terms with whom? Whom? Paper එක මාක් කරන්න පටන් ගත්තේ නැහැ. ටයිම් එකක් ගියා අනිත් ෆස්ට් ක්ලාස් එක ආවා දුන්නු. නේ කොහොමද ඔඩිට් එක පොඩක් ඉල්ලේ තාම පටන් ගත්තේ නැහැ. වන් ෂොට් දාන්න ඕනේ පන්දි ටුගේට් කරගෙන. බලමු. පේපර් එනකොට මට බයත් එනවා. Okay. Now auditor has been appointed by whom? How the appointment? Shareholder. Okay. So shareholder has appointed auditor. Now before starting the work, before auditor starts the work, he has to agree the terms. With whom he should agree. So with anything agreement, right? Okay. With anything agreement, no. With whom he must agree the terms. And yeah. Board of Directors. Board of Directors. उत्तर देगा कितनी है? यहाँ में एग्रीमेंट में इसको मैं आते कितना में आते? Board of Directors का कितने का ठीक? फाइनल तो सोचना. Shareholders. Board of Directors. He will appoint him. Okay, but how to prepare the finance statement? Who is responsible to prepare the finance statement? You can see in the annual report or in your company finance statement, bottom line, balance sheet again, bottom line again, balance sheet. If you are an auditor or if you are non-auditor, it doesn't matter. Finance statement balance sheet is quality. All sign करना है, कौन sign कराने? Who are the people signing in balance sheet? Auditors. Auditors game में, auditor इतना नहीं point out करला ना बड़ा और हम क्या snack में, तो करना all auditors का ये रहा. Audit करा दे, करना वाली 845 ना, 445, 445. Okay. Night work करना वाला एकत करना, साढ़े वर्क करना एकत करना, कम करना. करना मुनाद करना नहीं. कम की पेपर फिल करना, साइन करना. कम अंतिम मरो लास्ट ऑडिटर ने कौन से करना है? ओपनिंग बैलेंस चेक करना है. ओपनिंग बैलेंस चेक करना है ऑडिटर के 11 पास से करना है. एक ही फाइनेंस स्टेटमेंट डालना है. बैलेंस शीट के पहले हाउ साइन करना. Because finance control or head of finance or finance manager. High authority person in the company. It depends on hierarchy. So high authority person should sign first. Head of finance should say, head of finance will sign. Under that, on behalf of Board of Directors is responsible for the preparation and presentation of financial statements in accordance with Srilanka Accounting Standards. So Companies Act. Okay. That wording is there. Under that, on behalf of Board of Directors, 2 people will sign. If sole director, only 1 person will sign. So directors are responsible for the preparation of financial statement. Okay, yeah, am I responsible? Yeah, appoint. Now, whose financial statement will be reviewed by auditor? How the prepare finance statement review करने auditor, Board of Directors. So whatever amounts available in that financial statement, auditor should verify. If he wants to verify those figures, he needs documents, evidences. So those documents, evidences in relation to the amounts available in financial statement should be given by whom? Board of Directors. Yeah, prepare kara figure. Yeah, invest in no. Ito kota. Yeah, take the. Yeah, better करने आनी. So certain terms and conditions should be agreed with both parties. Okay. Shareholder will appoint. Okay. However, in that point. So now auditor will work with board of directors because they only should submit the documents. They only should submit the information to do the audit in relation to the financial statements. So continuously from the day one to final session audit, they will interact with board of directors. So terms should be agreed with directors and audit. Okay. So next topic after appointment. Agree the terms. Agree the terms. In this agreeing the terms, we are going to discuss about 4 topics. Number 1, preconditions. Engagement letter. Recurring audits. Same topics as we discussed in level 1. Okay. Precondition, engagement letter, recurring audits, acceptance of change in terms. I pass same thing discussed on one another. Okay. One another. New members of the NAR and so on. Right? Make the Uttara one another already discussed construction. Okay. Preconditions. What is mean by precondition? Can. What is mean by same name? Agree the term. The level 1 again agreeing on terms and conditions they high. Level 2 again Hatra gets Hatra again that way. That topics nine. What is mean by precondition? Not personality, not precondition again. This one paper easy name what that. Reason එක තමයි ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ කලින් මම කියවනේ කලින් බැච් එක පොඩ්ඩක් අත් කරලා දෙනවා ඕගොල්ලන්ට පොඩ්ඩක් easy එකට. ඒක ටෆ් කරලා ඒකේ දන්නේ මොන වෙයිද කියලා ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ පේපර් එක. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ටෆ් කරා පොඩ්ඩක් මිනි කේසස් පොඩ්ඩක් වැඩි ඉඳන් මටම තිරුණා පොඩ්ඩක් ටෆ් වුණා කියලා ඒක. මේ ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ පේපර් නෙමෙයි කලින් බැච් එක. හැබැයි ඒකෙන් ඒ ක්ලාස් එකෙන් මම හිතන්නේ 13ක් කියා ඒකේ 7ක් තමයි කරේ. Ini Park A out. Again, A minus. See, I am really happy with that result. Mama accept करना है मेरे में. ये मेरी क्या? फोटो टफ ना है क्या में? टफ क्या है? माटा टफ नहीं थी. क्या फालतू पड़े को? थोड़ा टफ ना मेरी केस स्टाफ नहीं था. पर तो पढ़ाएंगे. पांच मिनट था. What is mean by preconditions? Mata තියෙන එකනේ පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්න. I will explain. No worries. But what is mean by preconditions? මතක තියෙන එකනේ පොඩ්ඩක් think කරලා බලන්න. The making for whatever we are discussing first level, ඒක විතරක් නෙමෙයි මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. තව new topics උත් දෙනවා. Next week we are going to discuss about law, fraud, those things also we will discuss. New topics are coming. So almost additional topics තියෙනවා. Yes. Whatever we are already discussing first level, you can tell me. Preconditions. Mono. Okay. Okay. Okay, no. ඒකයි. Acceptable. Yes, natural response. These are the preconditions. My question, okay, why preconditions are important? One of the preconditions already are given. Then here is the question. Preconditions are preconditions. Okay. Why these preconditions are important to the auditor? Shareholder wants increase the reliability on financial statement. For that, he has approached to auditor. Here are my proposals. Either audit figure, online quotations. He is approaching auditor. Now, before sending the proposal, now auditor should evaluate whether I am capable to do the audit. Okay, whether I have resources, whether I have technical knowledge, like that, whether timing is enough. Timing of the will go through on the current audit expand. So those things he will evaluate and he will say, okay, I can accept this audit. That is called acceptance procedures. Engagement acceptance as well as client acceptance also. So after accepting that client and engagement, now okay, auditor will be appointed. Right? Now auditor, before starting the work, he has to discuss with management or board of directors certain things. If he is not satisfied with that, then he can quickly withdraw the assignment. Even though he has been appointed, he can withdraw. Okay? Mona, but I could withdraw karna puluwan. Here I take auditor. Appoint කරා කියලා කරන්න මේ මොනවද අනිවාර්යයෙන් මේකෙන් මේ කරන්න ඕන කියලා මොකද පුළුවන් නැහැ. He can, that's right. Capital vacancy will come no. Appoint කරා ICM එකේ. Maaf 3 එයා presentation දීලා යනවා. Auditor has that right. So after appointment, now auditor should discuss certain things with management before signing written agreement. Okay. So in level 1, I have given one example in a real life example. If you go with the rented house, if you want to put a rent agreement from the with the landlord, once you rent house කරන්න ඕනේ, rent house එක බැලුවා, දැන් morning බැලුවා, දැන් 10 o'clock sign කරන්න නැහැ නේ agreement එක. Based on your budget, your requirement, that house is okay for you. But okay, then house එකට යන්න ඕනේ next week ඒ house එකට යනවා කියලා decide කරනවා. ඒකට කලින් මේ decision එක ගන්න කලින් agreement එක sign කරන්න කලින් ඒ agreement එක sign කරන්න කලින් ඔයා certain things you have to discuss with the landlord. What's the rate? How much advance I should pay? And if repairs taken place, who will be responsible? If I want to vacate the place, how many months notice I should give? So those things we will discuss in detail in advance. Verbally discuss karna. Verbally discuss karla if okay na we are talking advance up dena. ඒ તો 11 12ට වගේ මේ 8 මාට බැලුවා කියලා 10 11 වගේ අපි sign කරනවා agreement එක. කරන්නේ නැහැ. සමහර ගෙදරට ගියාට පස්සේ තමයි sign කරන්නේ agreement එක. So written document you want. Okay, I agree with that point. But before taking the decision, verbal discussion you will do with him. And you will make the decision. Verbal discussion, okay, rent එක okay. Advance 6 months, 3 months, 1 year දෙකලා agree වෙනවා. Repairs කවුද මේ ව්‍යා කරගන්නේ? Minor repairs කවුද? Major repairs කවුද? Visitors එන්න පුළුවන්ද නැද්ද? ඒ parking තියනවද නැද්ද? Water bills, electricity bills කොහොමද එන්නේ? ඒ ඔක්කොම discuss කරගන්න ඕනේ major points ටික ඔක්කොම discuss කරලා If you are satisfied, then you will go with that arrangement. But still you have not put the sign agreement. Okay. That discussion arrangement called preconditions. Okay. ඔයාට discuss කරලා ඔයා agree වෙලා then engagement එක යනවා. Not only me. Right agreement. Anything. Okay. Marriage කරන එක දෙයමනේ wedding කරන එක. එකපාරට කියලා engagement එකකින් registration sign කරන්න නැහැ නේ. discuss කරලා agree වුණාට පස්සේ engagement වෙන්නේ. Okay. loan එකක් ගන්නවා නම් rate එක බලනවා installment එක ගන්නවා. Okay. then other advance pay කරොත් කොහොමද එමත් වෙනවනේ interest rate එක. first month එකෙන් මම pay කරොත් කොහොමද interest එක එන්නේ. last month in advance නැත්නම් payable විදිහට මම pay කරොත් කොහොමද interest එන්නේ. So before you entering into the agreement, you will with the counterparty you will discuss and agree certain conditions. Okay, verbally you will discuss and agree. Verbally you will discuss and agree. That verbal discussion called and you agree certain things called precondition. Example, rent you can take. Loan agreement you can take. So verbal discussion called verbally discuss and you agree certain things called preconditions. Likewise, here also auditor and management or board of directors. Before signing the written document called engagement letter, okay, this agreement. This is an agreement, purely agreement. Engagement again, agreement. Okay. Before signing the written document, they will discuss verbally and agree certain things. Those things called precondition. So now we are going to discuss what are those points. What are the points must be discussed and agreed with auditor and board of directors. Number one. Number one, acceptable financial reporting framework. So now auditor should call and ask director or management whether you are following acceptable financial reporting framework or not. What are the acceptable financial reporting framework in Sri Lankan context? Short while ago I told full IFRS, full SLFRS for LKs, SLFRS for SME, SLFRS for small entities, and statement of recommended practice for non-profit organizations. In normal way, you can just remember NPO standard. These are the 4 applicable accounting standards in Sri Lankan context. If anyone adopted GAAP it's CGAAP. GAAP standard US again, US GAAP US follow GAAP. If anyone follows GAAP, based on GAAP, we can't prepare the financial statements. Okay. Now your client has prepared financial statements based on GAAP. You can't do the audit. Okay. Then I became timing and the then I became local company subsidiary. Subsidiary local companies. Parent entity avilla US GAAP එක follow කරනවා. ඒතර local human සමහර companies තියෙනවා මේ ඔක්කොම worry වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ parent entity එකට accounts එක දෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ base එකේ accounts එක prepare කරනවා based on GAAP standard. So based on that GAAP standard you can't do the audit. So if you want to do the audit, you have to convert into one of these 4 standards. If it is private limited company, ideally 2 standards, full IFRS or SLFRS. You can adopt SC, you can adopt small entity standard, but provided company's turnover must be less than 100 million. Okay, if less than 100 million, there are also few criteria are there. If company's turnover is less than 100 million, that company can adopt SLFRS for small entities then. Okay, so criteria, 4-5 criteria are there. So for your knowledge purpose, just keep in your mind. So one private company has adopted GAAP standard and they have approached you to do the audit. Now you can't do the audit. Okay, now you have to tell them you have to convert these financial statements into based on SLFRS for SME or full SLFRS. Okay, then only you will do the audit. Clear? So first of all, you should discuss with the management and agree whether you are following acceptable financial reporting framework or not. If they are not following acceptable financial reporting framework, you will not accept the engagement. Clear? Number 2. Auditor must agree with management in relation to their responsibilities. Okay, their responsibilities with regard to audit. Okay, auditor, before signing the agreement, they should discuss with the management and they must agree these are your responsibilities. If you fulfill these responsibilities only, I will engage this audit. Okay, I will do this audit. So what are those responsibilities? Number 1, management Number 1, preparation of financial statement. Responsibilities with preparation of financial statements responsibilities with management. Management responsibility to prepare the financial statement, not auditor's responsibility. Okay. So first of all, auditor should agree with the management. You must prepare the financial statement. You must give to me to do the audit. If management says no, I can't prepare the financial statement, you only should prepare the financial statement. That's why we are paying audit payment to us. You should not agree the engagement. Okay. So first, management responsibility is preparation of financial statement. Responsibility is with management. Second responsibility, you must agree with the management. Internal controls in relation to preparation of financial statements. In bracket, financial control. Second responsibility is with management. Internal don't get misunderstand. Just prepare the finance statement. Prepare the finance statement. Preparation of finance statement entire process. All entire 365 days they are taking to prepare the finance statement here. Passing the journal to getting the finance statement. Entire process na finance statement preparation kila tha. Okay. So preparation internal controls in relation to the preparation of financial statement. Responsibilities with management. In simple term, we are saying financial controls. We have how many types of controls? Based on objective. Financial controls. In internal controls, we have discussed now in first level. Financial controls, operational controls, compliance controls. Out of these three controls, auditor will focus only about financial controls. He doesn't bother about operational controls and compliance controls. Okay, so here. And one more thing, make controls testing. We have detailed discussion here. Test of control we discuss first level like just theory discuss. In this level we have detailed discussion. Okay. So internal controls in relation to preparation of financial statement. Responsibilities with management. So whatever financial controls should be designed, should be implemented. Those responsibilities managed, not with auditor. So that also you have to agree with board of directors. Third one. Third one, management should agree to provide full access. Management should agree to provide full access to auditor in relation to the audit verifications regard to documents and information, which means full access they can't put any restriction. May document check karna back. May information confidential mama then restrictions back. Okay, full freedom of them non auditors that you can verify any documents, any information in relation to audit. That full access must be given by management. So that one should be agreed with the management before signing the agreement. Means engagement letter. So these three are management responsibilities. Full access should be given to the auditor to verify the documents and information in relation to audit without any restriction. If management says no, these documents cannot be provided or this information cannot be provided, auditor should not accept the invitation. Okay, so simply saying, one of the management responsibility, management must give full access to the auditor to verify the audit evidence and information. Yeah. So these are these 4 points. Okay, management responsibilities. We have 3 points and acceptable financial reporting framework. Altogether 4 points. Before engaging into the written agreement, before signing the written agreement, auditor must agree with board of directors. So if auditor is satisfied with these 4 points, now he can put these points into the written document and he can sign the agreement legally. Okay, we'll have a break 10 minutes. After that, we will continue engagement with. I will raise this one. So second topic in agreement terms, engagement letter. Second topic is engagement letter. Engagement letter or letter of engagement. Before that, I want to Before that, I want to go through the tube. So here, first topic we discuss about preconditions. Chapter 2, agree the terms. Preconditions we have discussed. The preconditions on audit are the use by management of and if you remember these things, that is enough. So what are the things you have to agree in advance? Determine whether that financial reporting framework is acceptable. Second one, obtain management's agreement that it acknowledges and understands its responsibilities for the following. Simple management responsibilities you have to agree in advance. Those responsibilities: preparing the financial statements in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. That's the first responsibility. Second one, internal control that is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements which are free from material misstatements. So the extended version I have given here. So if you can remember, internal controls in relation to the financial statement preparation is responsibilities of management. That is nothing. Third one, providing the auditor with access to all information. So these three management responsibilities must be agreed in advance before signing the engagement letter. Apart from that, whether management financial reporting framework followed by the management is acceptable or not, that also you have to agree. Okay, so the first topic we have discussed under agreeing the terms, that is called precondition. Clear? Altogether 4 points you have to keep in your mind. Second topic, document called engagement letter. So that one, engagement letter or letter of engagement. In short form, we are saying LOE. Here, what is this one? This is called written document. This is written document. The written document, because in preconditions we have discussed verbally only. So whatever we have discussed in verbally, we have to put it to the written document. So this is called written document. Second point, in relation to engagement letter, you have to remember this point. This is the written document between auditor and board of directors. Okay, auditor and board of directors. Third point you should keep in your mind: who prepares the engagement letter? How do we prepare current? Auditor or board of directors? Who prepares the engagement letter? Auditor. Okay, these are the key points you should know in relation to engagement letter. Number one, it's a written document. Okay. Number two, this is signed in between auditor and board of directors. Third one, auditor prepares the engagement letter. And fourth point, why this should be kept in a written format. Why? Verbally කියන්නේ මොනවද වෙන්නේ? අද එකක් කියයි ඊට එකක් කියයි. Okay, මම කිව්වේ නෑ කියලා කියනවා. So why this is important? To avoid understand. To avoid misunderstanding. Okay, these are the points you should know about engagement. Correct? Key points. You can develop your answer by using these key points. Okay. Engagement letter is the written terms of engagement in the form of letter. The auditor shall agree the terms of the engagement with management or those charged with governance. Those charged with governance, wherever you see this word, that is equal to board of directors. Okay, why we are saying governance? Sri Lanka government. Okay, so likewise, the party who governs the company called governance. So those charged with governance who direct the company, directors. So directors are the directors equal to those charged with governance. So management or directors or those charged with governance or are same. The auditor shall agree the terms of engagement with management or those charged with governance, and these shall be recorded in an audit engagement letter or other suitable term of written agreement. But in most of the cases, agreement happening any suitable form okay, but yellow it. Why it is sent before the commencement of audit? That's why that fourth point I have given to avoid misunderstanding. This has to be done before the audit engagement begins in the handwritten form, but also to avoid misunderstanding regarding the audit. There are two purposes. Before the audit, we have to say, before engaging the audit, you have to sign the agreement. Whatever work you are performing before starting, you have to sign the agreement. Not only for in audit. The give example at rent. So simple example, appointment letter. So before joining the organization, at the time of joining the organization, you should get the appointment letter. Appointment letter का तो confirmation आती है. कहता call करना होगा join करने के लिए और तो आगे आने पर से उन्होंने सुना नहीं. Written document you should have. Loan agreement, rent agreement, and this LOE, all you should keep the written document. Why we should keep the written document? Misunderstand. And one more additional point: why we should sign this written document before commencing the work? That also to avoid the misunderstanding. So why we should keep in the written format, and why we should send before the audit one answer. Okay. Engagement letter means it's a kind of, not a kind of, this is an agreement, okay? The word might be engagement or something, but substance is agreement, okay? So now second point, engagement contains or matters, contains or matters included so contents included in the engagement letter. Okay, so first point, in the agreement terms, we have discussed preconditions. Why preconditions are important? Before signing the agreement, you must agree certain things. Okay, if you are satisfied with those arrangement only, those points only, you will sign the agreement. So now we are signing the agreement. So why we should sign the agreement, written document? So there are those things we have discussed. It's a written document, auditor will prepare the engagement letter, and why it is important to avoid the misunderstanding. Now we are going to discuss about Okay, this is the agreement, this is the engagement letter, this is the written document. What are the contents should be included in this written document? Okay, so these contents or matters can be classified into two categories. And additional matters. The mandatory matters and additional matters. Now tell me, already discussed what are the mandatory matters? What are the mandatory matters? We have to include in the engagement letter. Objective and scope of the audit. So number one. Objective and scope of the audit. Number two, financial reporting framework. So that one we have already agreed with in the preconditions. So objective and scope of the audit, and number two, financial reporting framework. Next. Number three, management responsibility. Okay, number four, auditor's responsibilities. Number five, reference to the report. Okay, these are the five mandatory contents or mandatory matters must be included in the engagement letter. Number one, objective and scope of the audit. Number two, management responsibilities, auditor's responsibilities, financial statement, financial reporting framework, and last one, reference to the form and content of the report. What is meant by reference to the form and content of the report? We have to tell in the written agreement, final output will be given like this. We auditors know. We auditors in the agreement, in the engagement letter, we must tell after performing our scope, our responsibilities, our work, we will give our opinion in this format. Okay, so that is called audit report. Finally, audit engagement, audit reporting, then so that is called audit report. That audit report, how to develop, how to prepare, that guidance given by Srilanka auditing standard. So audit report separate number is there, 700 series. So based on 700 series, we will give the audit report. that words we have to mention in the engagement letter. Okay. So if you are an auditor and if you want to prepare an engagement letter, that engagement letter, the engagement letter prepared by you must have these 5 points. Okay. If you miss any points out of this, that engagement letter will not be considered as valid engagement letter. Okay, we can miss karo, एक valid engagement letter happening. Clear? So when you are preparing engagement letter, you must include all these 5 conditions. Okay, I will show the specimen later shortly after discussing the additional matters. Clear? Now we will move on to additional matters. Apart from these mandatory matters, okay, some additional points also there. So those additional matters you can include or you cannot include. If you wish, you can include, otherwise, no need. If you miss these additional points, miss kara kiyala එක valid නැති වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Still valid. Okay, but if you miss any point in mandatory matters, that is invalid engagement. But here additional matters are there, additional 13 points are there. So out of that 13 points, if you want, you can add 1. If you want, you can add entire 30. That is your wish. Okay. So if you want, you don't need to include anything. Still, that is valid engagement letter. Okay. Audit fee, one of the additional matters. Audit fee is not a mandatory matter. So I am not included any audit fee in the mandatory matters. No. Audit fee is a optional matter, additional matter. So likewise, you have 13 additional matters. Out of that 13 additional matters, if you can remember 6 to 8 matters, that is enough. Okay, so you don't need to remember all the 8 or 13 matters. Maximum 6 to 8. Let's say 6. That is enough. So easily you can remember number 1, fee and billings. Objective and scope of audit is mandatory. Okay, that is mandatory. But if you elaborate the scope of audit, that is optional. That our explain karana. That scope of audit here just explain karana. Then I will show the engagement letter. That is mandatory. What you know? Tawat additional words are tawat take elaborate karla detail explanation देने को आगे विषय. Mandatory किया certain points तीनों. Audit objective and scope पे किए नॉन ले. एक नेटवर्क तवा वेरी को आगे ना ना एक हो आगे क्या? So elaboration of objective and scope of audit one of the option. So number 1 fee and billings, elaborating scope and objective of audit option. Number 3, audit planning, performing timelines. When you will start the audit, when you will complete detailed planning things. If you those things, if you want, you can include. Okay, number 3. Number 4, if any expert, okay, let's say actual valuation. If you are doing jewelry or gem diamond company audit, so those diamonds and gems must be valued by expert. Actual valuation order on the bank. So those experts will come to the picture. So those part also we can explain in the engagement letter. Okay. So if any experts involved, those things you can explain in the engagement letter. So internal audit. What extent you are going to use the internal audit work? Those things you can include in the engagement letter. So if you have any inherent limitations to perform the audit, inherent limitations. So those inherent limitations also you can mention in the engagement letter. So these are optional things. So okay, I have told 5 or 6 names. So these are optional things. So these optional things you may put or you may not put. So this one I'm not going to write here. Just refer to. I will explain through the table. Okay, what are others? Contents of audit engagement letter shall include wherever you see And one more point, in auditing standard or accounting standard, when you refer when you are reading the accounting standard, you can see हमारे तो अगला ट्रिब्यूट एक होती है ना उसको फोटा वाला नोट का वाला अंदर shall के ना वर्ड है you see shall wherever okay, accounting standard that means must you don't have any options you must follow okay accounting mostly you are family with accounting standards ने accounting standards के मोनोवर standards का refer करना होगा बोलना shall के वर्ड है आपकी ना एक का options नहीं एक है you must adopt that one likewise here also shall include the following primary matters or mandatory matters okay these five objective and scope, auditor's responsibilities, management responsibilities, applicable financial reporting framework, reference to the expected form and content of any report, which means audited report, audit report. Okay, so these 5 points you must include in the engagement. Optional matters. So as I told, 13. Okay, you don't remember arrangements regarding planning and performance, including audit team composition. Who are the team members? When you start, when you plan to do the engagement letter, if you want, optional matter. Restriction of auditor's liability. Any obligation to provide audit working papers to the other parties. Because point out, if certain circumstances, you may do special purposing audits. If the main audit taker group audit started with the main audit taker main purpose. Audit report again done on the restriction of use. And gender statutory every year publicly available. Private impact company shower director okay, bank income tax department bank customers if we want to anyone he can give. Certain cases, certain audits we will do only for a special purpose. As the maker use so restriction not have done. Audit reporting restriction not have done. And some at a so a lot of my clients, they have 2-3 clients, they are doing not only 1-2-3 clients. Statutory April to March. Okay. Even the group consultation period January to December. Okay. And what are period change or period change after statutory period March change January to December. And companies are the April to March my financial period both compulsory. Okay. In our tax period is April to March. In Sri Lankan context, tax period is April to March. April 1st to 31st March, December 31st March. Okay. So because of that, a lot of companies also adopted financial period also April to March. Like easy name, same period, same tax period. But certain companies are there. Those companies' financial period might be calendar period, January to December. 12 months law 6 months, 3 months, 12 months. But when it comes to IRD purpose, income tax purpose, they will consider that January to December as April to March. April to March, meaning for example, 2025, January to December is the company financial period. Okay, so the company will prepare the financial statement based on January to December financial period. Clear? But when it comes to income tax purpose, the same figures they will take. They won't prepare again April to March. The same audited accounts they will use. They will use the same audited accounts and they will prepare the income tax computation. But that income tax department, IRD will consider 25-26 period. The May January December katta kiela एक period का मार्क करना है एक कंसीडर करना एक assume करना एक 25 April to 26 March का करबो इटेगा किया IRD. Okay, so depend okay. So certain companies are there. So why they are preparing January to March, January to December period? Because they are parent entity in foreign, they may prepare January to December. So to in line with their period, how people also will prepare January to December. ඒක හරි. නැත්නම් ඒක වැරදි නෙමෙයි. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ parent entity foreign එකකින් ඉන්නවා නම් ඒගොල්ලන් January to December prepare කරනවා නම් අපි ඒ period එකකින් කියොත් නේ consolidation එකට හරියන්නේ. නැත්නම් period change වෙනවානේ. මේක එක සිනාරියක්. තව සිනාරියක් තියෙනවා. Okay, parent entity is has adopted January to December accounts, January to December period. But local company they have prepared the final statement based on IRD period, which means April to March. එතකොට මොනවද වෙන්නේ? දැන් consolidation purpose එකට තව account එකක් හදන්න වෙනවානේ. ඒකට parent entity එක කියනවා January to December accounts එකක් හදලා ඒක audit කරලා දෙන්න කියලා. Okay, so now we have to, management should prepare the January to December accounts because already they have prepared April to March for statutory purpose. So now for consolidation purpose, they have to prepare January to December period. And that must be audited by us, same auditor. Okay. So that period, that audit report, we will give only for consolidation purpose. That report cannot be used for IRD purpose. Or time first. So එතකොට අපි audit report එකෙන් දානවා again for consolidation purpose, not for other purpose. If you have that type of situation, those restrictions also put under engagement letter. That is called any restriction is there. Any obligation to provide audit working papers to other parties. So any restriction on auditor's liabilities or any restriction in relation to the audit also. Okay, audit working papers එක restriction කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන කාටද දෙන්න බෑ කියලා. Okay, so that audit has been done only for that purpose. Okay, so if you have that type of things also, you can mention here. The management will provide written presentation. So likewise, you have 13 points. Out of this, just remember 6 points is enough. Okay, for your knowledge purpose, just remember and keep in your mind 13 additional points are there to put in the engagement. But for examination purpose, if you can remember 6 points out of these 13, that is enough. Okay, those are in relation to engagement letter. So engagement letter, you have to keep in your mind what is meant by engagement letter, why that is important, who is preparing the engagement letter, and what are the contents must be included in the engagement letter, and what are the contents should be included in the management letter. What are the optional matters and mandatory matters. Okay. මෙතන ප්‍රශ්නේ ඉන්නේ first level එකකින් වගේ මෙතන මොනවද කියන්නේ මෙතන මොනවද තියෙන්නේ කියලා. Okay. ප්‍රශ්නේ ඉන්නේ indicators type එක. Okay, that I will give you. Next class I will give you. ये प्रश्न में exam එකට දෙන්න නැහැ. ඒ වගේ එනවා. Okay. So first level එකේ ඔයගොල්ලන් මේ වගේ question එකක් આવොත් what are the mandatory matters to be included in the engagement කියලා වම ලියනවානේ. ඒ වගේ ප්‍රශ්න ඉන්නේ. one or two questions ඒ වගේ එයි. Okay. But majority of questions based on this theory you will get mini case. Okay. You okay then? Any doubt on this part? Or any further more clarification you need? Clear? Now we will move on to third point, third topic in agreeing the terms. Recurring audits. What is meant by recurring audits? Already in first level also I have explained that recurring audits and fourth topic you have to be careful. Question I have third टॉपिक पर नटा फोर्थ टॉपिक लेके आइडेंटिफाई करना पूर्व कैपेसिटी के तीन होने के लिए बंकी वाले that again I will tell you like we are discussing recurring audits. So now in the aggregate terms we have discussed number 1 precondition and number 2 engagement letter. What are the contents should be included in the engagement letter? Mandatory contents and action. Now third topic recurring audits. What is mean by recurring audits? What are the substance? What are the points we are going to discuss on the recurring audits? We will discuss. Recurring audits means, let's say, first year you have agreed with the management. Precondition you have agreed. You have signed the agreement. You have done the audit. Finished. Let's say 24-25. It was done. My next question. 24-25 is the first year audit fee. So you have first year means for you that's the first year, not company. As an auditor, first audit for you. So 24-25 you have completed. Now 25-26. So 25-26 you have to do the audit. My question, do you need to send engagement letter again for 25-26? Yes or no? Already you have signed the engagement letter. Last year it was a first year audit, 24-25. Okay, fine. You sign agreement and you did the audit. Successfully completed. Now next year, second year audit. Now whether you need to send engagement letter again to the management or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? No, no need. Every year you don't need to send the engagement letter. Okay, that's the theoretical answer. In practical manner, because of certain requirements, some people may say practically different venom, but theoretically, technically, you don't need to send. Okay? Every year you don't need to send engagement letter, but certain circumstances you have to send. Okay? If you encounter certain circumstances, in that circumstances you have to send engagement letter again. Okay, generally no. Recurring audits, auditors need to send engagement letters answer is no. Okay, answer is no. Every year they don't need to send. But certain circumstances auditor should remind or certain circumstances auditor should remind or revise the terms. Okay, certain circumstances they need to remind or revise the terms. In those circumstances, they should again set the engagement letter for existing client. Okay, otherwise, generally answer is no. Now we are going to discuss what are those circumstances. Okay, what are those circumstances? So those circumstances Number one, significant change in ownership. Okay, if ownership shareholders change significantly during the period, then you have to send the revise. Sorry, yeah, then you have to send the new engagement letter. Okay, and what reason change in management? It's a change in management. Why reason change in management? We have to send the engagement letter again. With whom you have signed the engagement letter? With whom last year you have signed the engagement letter? Auditor and board of directors. With whom board of directors. Now let's say last year A, B, C were the board of directors. With them only you have signed the agreement engagement letter. This year board of directors changed. Means management changed. Okay, now terms and conditions have not been changed, but management changed. So now new management is there. So again, you have to send the engagement letter and you have to agree with the new management about terms and conditions. So we have to sign from, we have to get the sign from new management. So if recent management change is there, then you have to send the new letter. Okay. Business volumes, size, or nature change. Okay. By business volume change of the new engagement letters in Colombo. Yeah, that's also correct. So earlier, I told you that specific business entities, non-specific business entities, so 500 million turnover. So if last year that company had only 300 million turnover, let's assume like that. Okay, 24-25 you engage the audit, and that company had only 300 million turnover. Assume that other criteria is also not satisfied for the SBE. So 300 million turnover. So you have considered that audit as a non-SB audit. Okay. So non-SB audit considered. So you have done the audit also based on non-SB auditing standard. Okay. So now 25-26. Now the turnover has increased to 500 million. So now that company will be a SBE company. So now, since that company is a SBE company, now you have to do the audit based on SBE account auditing standard. Okay. So now again, your scope we have to enhance. You have to explain that one in detail, and you have to send the engagement letter. Not in detail, but scope our audit will be done based on the SBE standard. Okay, SBE standard in detail optional matter. Okay. So the scope has been changed. So because of that, we have to send new engagement letter. Management has misunderstood management has misunderstood about engagement term. Management has misunderstood about engagement terms. Then board of directors are changed but its ownership has not changed. Volume also not increased. Okay. But same management, all are same. But management has misunderstood the terms what we have agreed last year. So now, as an auditor, our responsibility to remind the terms. Okay. We have to give the explanation about the terms. So if that's the circumstance also, we have to send engagement letter. We are not changing anything. We are not changing anything. Board of directors has not been changed. Volume has not been increased. On the other hand, ownership has not been changed. So nothing has changed. But same letter we have to send to clear the terms and conditions. The same management. Okay, because they have misunderstood the engagement terms. Number 5. Changes in financial reporting framework. Why, if any changes in financial reporting framework, why we should send engagement again? That's a mandatory content. If earlier, last year, 24-25, that company audit client has adopted SLFRS for SN. Okay, now they want to adopt full IFRS. So now you have to amend engagement letter and you have to send. Okay. So if financial reporting framework changed, then you have to send the new engagement letter. Last year engagement letter you have mentioned SLFRS SME. So now you have to revise that one and you have to revise that part from SLFRS to SME to full SLFRS. 6th one I write here. Changes in other requirements, other legal requirements or requirements. Okay, so these 6 circumstances are there. So one more, I think I'm still there. Seven things are there, but if you remember 5 to 6 is enough. So out of the 6, if you remember 5 or 6, that's enough. So these 6 are those circumstances. If auditor faces one of these circumstances, then auditor should send the engagement letter again to the board of directors. Okay. So what are the situations? Any indication that the entity misunderstands, any revised or special terms, a recent change of senior management, significant change in ownership, a significant change in nature, size of the entity's business, change in legal or regulatory requirements, change in financial reporting framework, change in other reporting requirements. Okay, out of this, if you keep in your mind at least 5 or 6, that is enough. Clear? So before discussing fourth topic, So master you are. Okay. So this is the specified format of engagement letter. So what are the mandatory contents we have to include? Engagement letter. What are the mandatory contents? Number one, objective and scope. Number two, objective and scope, auditor's responsibility, management responsibilities, financial reporting framework, and last one refers to the contents. So those things you can see here. Okay. Audit engagement letter between ABC and company. ABC company is a audit firm and BSAA private limited. Board of directors to whom you are sending board of directors. BSAA private. First one, the objective and scope of the audit. Okay. So objective and scope of the audit. What is also subjective? Last class I have written name. Last class name okay. I don't need this words, okay, technical name. In layman way I have given, provide an opinion on financial statements. Something can provide operator account known as provide opinion okay make argument material statement provide an opinion on finance statements whether financial statements are free from material misstatement whether finance statements are prepared based on the financial reporting framework without material mistake. Okay, so that is our objective. So that objective we have to take. That's one. And second one, scope. What is our scope? For auditors, do you need to check fraud with the fraud the internal control we have to check 100% we have to check in terms of material mistake, in terms of finance statement. Our scope is only related to financial statements of the company. We are not going to check about internal controls, operational controls, whether operational controls are implemented properly. Compliance, compliance, non-compliance. While we are doing the main work, those things will come automatically. But our scope is only related to the financial statements. Okay, so we have to audit the financial statements. 5 financial statements are there now: P&L, balance sheet. Okay, statement of financial position, statement of comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity, statement of cash flow, and notes. So this is our scope. Okay, so this scope we have to audit and we have to provide. These financial statements have been prepared in accordance with the financial reporting framework without any material mistake. This is our objective and scope. So that objective and scope must be included here. The management has requested that we audit the financial statement of BSAA Limited, which comprise statement of financial position, statement of comprehensive income, period also we have to mention. Period as at 31st March 2025, and a statement of comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity, and statement of cash flow for the year ending. Okay, and a summary of accounting policies and other explanatory information notes. Okay, we are pleased to confirm our acceptance and our understanding of this engagement by means of this data. Our audit will be conducted with objective of our expressing an opinion on financial statements. We are not going to express an opinion on internal controls or any other compliances. We will, if we come across any non-compliances, if we come across any fraudulent related internal control things, we will communicate to management. Okay, but our primary objective, what I have highlighted, scope is financial statements. Those financial statements with period we have to mention. This is our scope. Clearly, by doing this scope of work, this is our objective. So this is how the engagement letter we have to take. So number 1, objective and scope of the work. Number 2, responsibilities. Responsibilities. So what is auditor's responsibilities? The audit within the scope of what is the scope? Financial statements. So एक आप मोनादा करना नहीं किया ना अभी अपनी responsibility indicate किया ना. Responsibilities of auditor. We will conduct our audit in accordance with Sri Lanka auditing standard. Okay, Sri Lanka auditing standard. If you are doing audit for non-SP companies, then here we will mention Sri Lanka auditing standard of applicable to non-SPs. Then Q1 is sort of changes recurring audits a new engagement letter send current note than circumstance Q1 volume එක increase වෙන එක, size එක increase වෙන එක. 24-25, you have done the audit based on non-SP Sri Lanka auditing standards. Okay, because that company had only 300 million turnover. So in the first year engagement letter, you have mentioned we will conduct our audit in accordance with Sri Lanka auditing standards applicable to non-SP Sri Lanka. Now the company has 500 million turnover. So now you have to do SP standard. Again, full version. Full version you have to adapt. Auditing standard. So now you can't go with non-SP auditing standard name. So again, you have to change this word and you have to send the engagement letter. So that's why I told if volume has been increased, then you have to revise the engagement letter. Those standards require that we comply with ethical requirements. So here we have to tell about our responsibilities. So what are the things we should comply based on what? Based on what we will do the audit. So what is our reference? So those things we have to explain in detail. Perform the audit to obtain responsibilities. Those standards require that we comply with ethical requirements and plan and perform the audit to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements are free from material mistake. That must be clearly communicated in our responsibilities. And audit involves, now we have to tell what are the works we are going to, what is our responsibilities, what are the things we are going to do. In a brief manner, we have to explain. An audit involves performing procedures to obtain audit evidence about the amounts and disclosures in the financial statement. So our responsibility became අපි responsibility මේක තමයි කියලා නිකන් message එකක් යවනවා වගේ යවන්න පුළුවන්. මේක ඔක්කොම legal document නේ. So we have to explain in detail our responsibilities. An audit involves performing procedures to obtain audit evidence about the amounts and disclosures in the financial statement. The procedures selected depend on auditor's judgment, including the assessment of risk of material statement of the financial statements, whether due to fraud or error. So these are the two reasons why misstatements can be happen: fraud or errors. An audit also includes evaluating the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates made by the management, as well as evaluating the overall presentation of financial statements. Likewise, 2-3 paragraphs are there. We have to explain about our responsibilities. I'm not going to read this one, already I have uploaded. Just go through. So here you have to just for understanding purpose, you have to keep in your mind what are the points should be included in the engagement letter. Now we will move on to responsibility of management. So already we have discussed some responsibilities of management in preconditions. What are those things? Preparation of financial statements. Take responsibility of another responsibility, internal controls in relation to the financial statements. Preparation, management responsibilities. Third one, full access must be given to the auditors to do the audit. So those things here we have to mention. Whatever verbally we have agreed, those things must be. In addition to those things, we will agree certain points. So here, apart from that, 1 or 2 points also we have agreed, but mandatorily, compulsory, those points must be included. Okay, those must be included. So whatever, agree with in the banning, nothing agree with not banning. So whatever verbally we have agreed, those things we have to put in the engagement letter. So responsibility of management, preparation of financial statements, internal controls in relation to the financial statements, and access to all the information should be given to the management. Apart from that, additional information that we may request from management for the purpose of audit, unrestricted access to persons within the entity. If we elaborate document access දෙන්න ඕනේ. අපි කාත් එක්ක auditors කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙමත් තියෙනවා. මේවත් එක්ක කතා කරන්න බෑ. එයාට access නෑ කතා කරන්න. එහෙමත් කියනවා. Documents විතරක් නෙමෙයි. ඇයි කතා කරලා evidence ගන්න පුළුවන් නේ. So in documents, information, economic restrictions නෑ. Persons එකත් එක්ක කතා කරන එකකට restrictions නෑ කියලා අපි engagement එකේ agree වෙන්න ඕනේ. Okay, that is responsibility of management. So here I have put fee, but fee is optional. So likewise, if you want any other optional things, you can mention here. So what are the mandatory things? Number one, objective and scope. Covered me. Second one, audit responsibilities covered. Management responsibility covered. And preparation of financial statement. Yeah, I have mentioned. The responsibility of management, this one already mentioned. For the preparation of finance presentation, sorry. Here. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. The preparation of financial presentation of financial statements in accordance with Sri Lanka accounting standards. So here you have to put if full IFRS Sri Lanka accounting standards. Okay. If it is SLFRS for SME, here you have to put Sri Lanka accounting standards for Sri Lanka financial reporting framework for SMEs. If it is small entities, Sri Lanka accounting standards for small entities. If it is NPO standard, here also you have to put under management responsibility. You can put the accounting standard. So accounting standard you have mentioned. Management responsibilities you have mentioned, auditor's responsibility you have mentioned, objective and scope of audit you have mentioned. After that, fees optional matter. If you want, you can put, otherwise you can leave. Last one, report form. That is also one of the mandatory content. So report, I told we shall issue our report. What is the final output? That we have to communicate to them. Counterparty, we have to communicate what is our final output. So we shall issue our report as per the form and content presented in Sri Lanka Auditing Standard 700 issued by CST. Okay. The form and content of our report may need to be amended in the light of our audit findings. Okay, this is how we have to go. Based on what we will issue our report according to Sri Lanka Auditing Standard, relevant standard number we have to mention. And both parties should sign these things. So mandatory, this engagement letter has been prepared based on the mandatory requirements only, other than the audit. Okay. So if you want any additional matters, you can include. Okay. So last topic is also a little bit complicated topic. We go together. Last topic is the agreement with the terms. Post topic. Raise the Okay. Fourth topic. Acceptance of change in acceptance of change in terms. So here third one, recurring one. I hope you have this point in your mind already in the first level also I told. If I ask any question in relation to third and fourth topic, generally I get answers other way around. If I ask any questions in relation to recurring audits, some people may write the answer for this one, fifth one. If I ask fifth one, some may answer fourth. So that's a little bit, I don't know why they have been confused. But the thing is, you don't need to confuse. In advance, I will tell. Third topic, it is related to recurring. Already, audit has been done last year. So every year, whether you have to send the engagement letter or not, already done. This topic is related to during the audit. Okay, so you have to put here during the audit. Okay, so you have signed the agreement. Let's say you are doing 25-26 audit period audit. You have signed the agreement, and both parties agree. While you are doing the audit, now management has asked you to change the terms in the agreement. Whether you will accept or not accept. That's the question. Okay. What are the circumstances? What are the three situations? Huh? So generally we can't say whether you will accept or not accept. Okay. Certain circumstances you can accept, certain situations you cannot accept. Okay. So this one you have signed, you are doing 25-26 audit. You have signed, you have started the audit somewhere, let's say May 1st. Okay, let's say May 15th. May 15th, you have started the audit for 25-26 period. Now you have signed the agreement, you have started the audit. While you are doing the audit, now management asks you to change the terms, but you have agreed with them. Now question, are you going to accept that one or not? That's the question and answers we are going to discuss. Generally, I can't say you should accept or you should not accept. There are three situations. Okay, there are three situations. Okay. There are three situations. Based on these three situations, you can decide. Okay. First one, changing circumstances. Misunderstanding. Third one, restriction on scope. These are three steps. So I will explain with the example, same example we have discussed. Let's say you have signed the agreement and you have started the audit on May 15th. Now what's the date? June 7th. Okay. 20 days finish. Okay. Somewhere 20 days finish. Now, earlier you have agreed with the management. We will start the audit by May 15th and we will issue the audit report by June 20th. Okay, that's how you have agreed the terms and conditions with the management. Based on that only, you have done the field work and now you are in the finalizing process. Okay, this is the situation. May 15th we have started. June 20th you agree to sign the report. Now management they have called and asked you. No, June 20th, we can't wait until June 20th. They also agreed earlier, but now they are telling up to June 20th, we can't wait. Since you have finished the audit, can you submit the audit report by June 15th? Okay, this is the situation. They want to change the term, but we have already agreed. Now they are asking us to change the term. So my question, do you agree with this change or not? අත්යෙන් බලනවා වගේ අන්න එපා මේක. Already same example තමයි කිව්වේ. Date එක වෙනස් වෙනස් වෙනවා. Okay. Situation එක තේරුණානේ? May 15th you have started. Initially you have agreed. You will submit the audit report by June 20th. But now you are in June 7th. Now they want audit report by June 15th. Okay, 5 days in advance they want. So now make a අනිවාර්යෙන් මේක accept කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා නැහැ. Okay? මේක අනිවාර්යෙන් accept කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා නැහැ. ඔයාලා ඕනම බැංක් එකේ කියනවා by already you have agreed නේ. ඒගොල්ලන් request කරනවා. ඒගොල්ලන් by post කියන බෑ අපිට දෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා. Just they are requesting you. But this request also you have legally you have right to not accept. Legal legally you don't have you have right to not accept. Okay, but you can consider. Okay, so June 15th. Now my question whether you will accept or not accept. Accept again not accept or accept accept කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කවුරුත් නැහැ. ප්‍රශ්නයක් අවුත් ජෙනරල් නේ ප්‍රශ්න අහන්නේ නේ ඒක තමයි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් නැගිටලා අවුත් ස්පෙસિෆිකලි බලමු පටන් ගන්නවානේ. දැන් මේක සෙකන්ඩ් ක්ලාස් නේ. කොහොම ඔයාලට තිබිච්චේවානේ. Okay. This we can't say yes or no. Okay, just like that we can't say yes or no. First of all we have to see they are asking June 15th thing. Already we agreed June 20th. Now we have to see whether this 5 days gap will affect to our final output. What is our final output? Audit opinion. Then May 5 days again තමයි අපිට critical makeup තියෙනවා. Okay, analyze කරන්න තියෙනවා. අපි outstanding එකක් දෙන්න තියෙනවා. එමු කියමු අපි we are waiting for an outstanding document. ඒ outstanding document එක මම determine වෙන්නේ මේක clean opinion දෙනවද නැත්නම් modified opinion දෙනවද කියලා. So likewise if those 5 days is a critical part of the audit, then we cannot accept. Okay. So if we have a gut feel, okay, almost we have done, just a matter of days, almost we have finalized, 95% we have finalized. So no any critical matters. So we can finalize by 15 like both, you can accept. Okay. So based on the situation. So if these two situations, if as an auditor, if you have reasonable justification, you can accept. Okay. If you have reasonable justification, you can accept. Okay. If you don't have reasonable justification, reasonable justification means දැන් මම කියවනේ දවස් 5ක් ඇතුළත critical important document එන්න තියෙනවා. ඒ දවස් 5න් අපිට ඒ decision එකම change වෙනවා. That's not reasonable justification. You can't accept. Okay. Then you have to sign audit report after obtaining the relevant document or information by 20th June. If you feel okay, all are fine, no issues, just a matter of timing or days. And sign off by 20 without compromising my responsibilities and opinion. I can sign off by then you can vote it. You have reasonable justification. So if you don't have reasonable justification, not answer. Okay. for these two situations, misunderstandings or change in circumstance. Okay, change in circumstance කියන්නේ circumstance change වෙන එක. June 20th කියලා කීප එක දැන් June 15 කියලා එන්නේ. Misunderstanding you know na misunderstanding. Little misunderstanding. Okay. Third one, restriction on scope. For this example, already I have given the example that you also. Example, you have started the audit May 15. Now you are doing the audit. Audit ticket engagement letter ka sign kar. Audit ticket. So based on that, you are doing the audit. Now, while you are doing the audit, you found some issues like documents, inadequate documents, template receivable record, confirmations, and subsequent invoices, subsequent settlement, invoices, verify करवाना, purchase का तो purchasing invoices, expenses invoices, land, keeping problems, invoices, identification. So you have noted certain issues. You have engaged to do the audit. While you are doing the audit, you have noted certain issues. So then, management දන්නවනේ මේ issues කියලා. එතකොට මේ issues තියෙනවා නම් clean opinion company එක කියලා දන්නවනේ. කියන්නේ clean opinion that unmodified you know that unmodified modified okay. Clean opinion means unmodified opinion. So if management has lot of problem in the financial statements, then management will auditors will not give clean unmodified opinion. Anyway, it will end up with modified opinion. So by knowing that, now management has requested us, can you change the scope from audit to review? Review na negative opinion, limited assurance. So they are done now then documents na clean opinion kenna modified තමයි ඉන්නේ. ඒ නිසා අපි scope එක change කරමු කියලා request කරනවා management to auditors. Are you going to accept this one? That is limitation on, restriction on scope. So that one you don't need to see whether this is reasonably justifiable or not. You don't need to think about that. That type of thing you should not, you must not accept. Not accept. Okay. So scope, limitation, restriction on scope related things you must not accept. Clear? Note it down this one. Then we will go on. We will move on to the queue. So most important point you must know, this is during the audit, not recurring audit. During the period of audit, mid of audit. Okay, audit time jana bitama mega vendi. Recurring audit is already done first year. Second year, do you need to send engagement or not? That's the concept. So clearly differentiate these 2 points. Okay. Acceptance of change in terms. A change in terms of audit engagement prior to completion. See, here also I have mentioned prior to completion. Okay, prior to completion during the audit may result from change in circumstances, misunderstanding, and restriction on the scope of audit engagement, whether imposed by management or caused by circumstances. Okay, management imposed කරන පුළුවන් නැත්නම් situation එක ඒ වගේ එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So whatever final result is ended up with restriction on scope, you must not accept. Okay. If you have reasonable basis or justification, you can accept change in circumstances and misunderstand. Okay. So if you don't have reasonable basis, then you should not accept. So if auditor agrees, based on the reasonable basis, if auditor agrees, then if the terms are changed, the auditor and management shall agree and record the new terms in engagement letter. The monkey one 15 දෙනවා කියලා 20th 15 දෙනවා 20th තමයි agree වුනේ දැන් 15 දෙනවා කියලා. එතකොට revised agreement එකක් දාලා agree වෙනවා. Okay, if it is a reasonable justification is there. Really, If reasonably you are in a position to justifiable, then you should not agree. This side, non-reasonable basis justification. A change may not be considered reasonable if it is appears that change relates to the information is incorrect, incomplete, or otherwise unsatisfactory. If the auditor could not obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence for receivable and is then asked by management to change the engagement from an audit to review so as avoid a modification of the audit opinion. What I have explained now. Okay, he has asked to change from audit to review. So you should not accept because this is restriction on scope. So if auditor does not agree, then maybe agree they are key audit review. So you can't go like that. In acceptable what are restriction on scope. So if auditor does not agree, if the auditor cannot agree to change of terms and management does not allow the auditor to carry on with original audit engagement, then engagement continue change so accept ban. So then auditor should withdraw the engagement. The auditor should not continue. Auditor modified opinion review approach review. So what's the option we have? We have to withdraw. Okay. And second one, determine whether there is an obligation to report this to other parties. Then then withdraw may financial statements stakeholders report regulatory body. When a PSA companies just assumption. So determine whether there is an obligation to report this to other parties. For example, those charged with governance, owners, regulators. Okay. Reasonably justifiable, accept. If not, you should not accept. Scope limitation, no any reasonable justification assessment, you must not accept. Okay. If you accept, you will change the terms and you will send a new engagement letter. If you don't accept because of the scope limitation, you have to withdraw the engagement. Okay. So these are the things related to agreeing the terms. So next class, I'm going to discuss, I will give the questions in relation to engagement letter, agreeing the terms, and new topic we are going to discuss about loss and profit. Okay, that we have not covered in semester 1. So because after step 1, I should go to step 2. But before that, I want to take certain concepts like fraud, loss, audit materiality. So we will discuss those areas and we will move on to audit planning. Okay.